大家一起做，没做完当回家作业，做完回家没作业了。Well, after J.J. Thompson, after he proposed there is a subatomic particle, he then think about a special model for the atom. He proposed a plum pudding, 叫做梅子pudding, plum pudding model. That is, the electrons were safe. They are embedded in the positive charge, like plums in a plum pudding. 带正电荷的布丁，带负电荷的小梅子，叫梅子布丁 （plum pudding model）。The electrons are embedded in the positive pudding. Those electrons are treated as the plums. Plums 是梅子，pudding Electrons are treated as the plums. The upper part of the atom is treated as pudding. Well, that is plum pudding model to describe the subatomic model, to describe the atom. Then you may know that model is not correct. That is just a very beginning. 在很早之前，他提出来是对的。That is not correct. Then, well, I asked you a question. What are the objects outside of atoms? Here shows the hydrogen, helium, lithium, and beryllium. What are those objects outside of the atoms? 这题比较简单吧，这应该肯定有回答。I have network problem, so I will do this later on. Sorry. Well, the answer is no. Well, then the next experiment I'm going to show you today is Millikan's oil drop experiment. For J.J. Thomson's Castle tube experiment, he only found the charge to mass ratio of electrons. 他只找到电子的电荷对质量的赫质比。He only found the charge to mass ratio. He did not found the magnitude of mass. He did not find the mass of the electron. He did not find the charge. How large is the charge? He did not find the magnitude of the charge. 他没有找到电荷量 ，OK？ 他没有找到电子质量。He only found the charge to mass ratio. So the next important person is Millikan. There's a man, well, a handsome man. His name is Robert Millikan. He was born in America. Well, where is America? Here. Taiwan is there. Then we have to fly this way to the United States. American. Well, he is American. He passed away already. He found the value. He determined the value of the charge on the electron. He determined the value of the charge on the electron. 他决定了电子的电荷量。He determined the charge, the value of the charge on the electron in his oil drop Well, then let's go to the setup, the most important part. Well, that is the setup. You can see outside of the container there is a big container. 有一个很大的容器 There is a big container. Outside of the container there is a X-ray source. 有一个 X 光源 There is an X-ray source. Then the second thing is they have a high voltage source, AC source, direct current source. It can reach up to 2000 volts range. 它可以加电压到2000伏。A high voltage source, 一个高电压 a high voltage source. That is the second device. The first device is the X-ray source. The second device is a high voltage source. Then the third one is the oil. Of course, we need an oil. We need oil drop. We need oil drop. 我们需要油泥。So there is an optimized, 就是优化的 optimized device which can sprays the oil into teeny droplets. 它可以喷出很小的油滴。That we need the third device is the oil. We need the oil, a special device which can spray the oil into teeny droplets. 喷出小油。That is the third one. The final one is a microscope. 显微镜. Then we need a microscope to view the oil droplets, to view the motion of the oil droplets. Okay, in total 4 devices outside of the container. 这个容器外面有4个东西 1 X-ray source, 2 the high voltage source, 3 the oil optimized device to spray the oil droplets. The third one, the final one is a microscope to watch the motion of the droplets. How about inside the container? Inside the container there are 2 electrodes. 两个电极 or you can call it metal plates, 金属板 2 electrodes. Then, how do we do the experiment? First, somebody should push the oil device to, the oil should spread on the top electrode. 首先油要喷在第一层 First, the oil spreads on the top electrode. First, the oil spreads on the top electrode. Okay. Then there is a hole. There is a hole in the middle of the top electrode. There is a hole, 有个洞 on the top electrode. 上面有一个洞 There is a small hole on the top electrode. Then the oil can pass through. The oil drop can go to the region between the top and the bottom electrode. Then the oil can go between the region between the top and the bottom electrode. 那么油滴就可以透过那个洞跑到两个电极中间。Then the oil droplets can go to the region between the top and bottom electrodes. 你觉得 OK 吗？好 ，OK. Then the hole allows the oil top and the bottom electrode. Then the top electrode is connected to the positive terminal of battery. Then the top electrode 上面的电极 is connected 跟什么连在一起 is connected to the positive 带正电 positive terminal of the battery 电池的正极。Then the top electrode contains the positive charge. Okay, the top electrode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. Then the X-ray. You may think, what's the purpose for the X-ray? The X-ray comes out and ionizes the gas. This container is not vacuum. 这个容器里面不是真空，有一点点气体。The X-ray comes out. 打开 X-ray. The X-ray will ionize the gas. 它会把气体离子化。The ionized gas interact with the oil drops. 那些离子化的粒子会跟油滴作用，粘到油滴身上。Then the oil droplets bring the charge. 那么油滴就带电。Okay. The X-ray is the source to ionize the gas. The ionized particle can attach to the oil droplets. Then the oil droplets can carry the charge. X 光把气体离子化，离子化的气体附着在油滴上，油滴就带电。Okay. Then the voltage is turned on. Then the voltage is turned on. 然后把电关掉。Then we watch. We use the microscope to watch the motion of the falling droplets. Then we turn off the voltage source and watch. We use the microscope to watch the motion of the falling droplets. 我们用显微镜看油滴掉下来的行为。So the falling droplets are accelerating down due to the gravitational force mg. 油滴加速往下运动，因为受到重力。Okay, the falling droplets are accelerating down 加速向下 due to the gravitational force mg. 因为重力下降。Some drops reach a steady velocity because of the viscous force. 粘滞力。开始有一些油滴达到中端速度或较稳定的速度。Some drops reach a steady velocity because of the viscous force. The viscous force can be easily calculated because of the Stokes law. Okay, then I will introduce the calculation method later on. Assume there are some cases we can see the oil droplets which goes accelerating down, then you find those droplets become steady velocity. Then you are sure those droplets, their gravitational force equals to 重力的粘滞力的时候，有滴粒子就是等速下降。When the gravitational force and the viscous force they are equal, then you can see the oil droplets they will be in a steady velocity. 它们会以等速下降。Then you can easily know the velocity, the constant velocity, by checking the time and the distance. By checking the time from A to B, you can check the time and the distance, then you know the velocity. 速度等于距离除以时间嘛，你可以测量距离和时间得到等速。So constant velocity is very easy to measure. Okay, then let's do the discussion. For the force goes down, there are two. One is called gravitational force. The other is called Bion force. Bion force, Bion force, you should know that how to calculate them. That is easy because we can treat the oil drop as a spherical. 我们可以把油滴当成球状 spherical. Then this is the volume of the oil, the density of the oil, the density of air. The density of the oil subtract the density of the air. The density of air means the Bion force. If you subtract them times g, the acceleration due to the gravity, then you have the force go down. It contains the gravitational force and Bion force. 重力减掉浮力，因为浮力的方向永远跟运动的方向、跟重力的方向相反，浮力跟重力的方向不相反，所以是用减的。体积乘上密度乘上继续用，体积乘密度是质量嘛，质量乘距变重量。So this is the volume of the oil droplets. Rho means the density of the drops. Rho air means the density of the air. G means the acceleration due to the gravity. So you have the force go down. Then what is the force go up? That is the viscous force. 粘滞力. For viscous force, that is easy. We all learned in our second year of ecology. 大二有学过电磁学吗？ According to Stokes' law, the viscous force is 6 pi eta RV1. For those very small particles, the viscous force is like this: 6 pi eta or eta RV1. Eta means viscosity of the air. R means the radius of the drop. V1 means the velocity of the drop. Assuming the velocity of the drop is V1. 粘滞系数，油滴的半径，还有油滴的速度。OK，根据电磁学理论里面，非常小的粒子，它的粘滞力就是6派eta RV1， 6派eta RV1， 这叫 Stokes' law. According to the Stokes' law, it is very important. Stokes' law. It is due to Stokes' law. Just like due to the gravitational force F equals to mg, due to viscosity force, due to the Stokes' law, the very small particle, the viscous force equals to 6 pi eta RV1. 6 pi eta RV1. Okay? Then we have the force go up and the force go down. When they are equal, then the velocity of the drop goes get this formula. When V1 is constant, that means the viscous force equals to the gravitational force. 粘滞力的重力它就会等速下降。我们把粘滞力的公式和重力的公式放在，重力当然有减掉负荷，一个向上，一个向下，两个相等。Then we have the radius of the drop. The radius of the drop. 我们得到有力的按值。That is equation 1. Again, there are 2 steps that we can determine. Well, this time 3 steps. The second step is you don't have to write down everything because I will provide you with the slides. If you have time, then yeah, please. Okay. So you can remember we have this formula in the end. Okay. That is step 1. We have step 2. For step 2, we turn on the voltage. For the step 1, we do not turn on the voltage. For the step 2, immediately he turned on the voltage. Then what happened? If we do not turn on the voltage, the oil drops only due to the gravitational force. If we turn on the voltage, then we have the electric force. Right? Okay. Then we have the electric force. The oil spreads again. The oil spreads on the top electrons. 再一次把油力喷到上面。Again, the oil spreads on the top electrons, and this time we have electric force. As I said before, the top electron is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, so it is positive. And the bottom electron is negative. So we have the electric field in this way, from up to down. But because the oil carries the negative charge, so the oil will go up, not down, go. So the oil have the electric field, QE, but this force let the oil act upwards, 往上走. That is the force provide the oil to go up. Then we use the microscope to watch the motion of the falling droplets. Again, we use the microscope to watch the motion of the falling oil. There are 2 ways. There are 2 calculation methods. One is to watch. One is to think. One way is to think the drops go down. The other is to watch those droplets go up. There are two ways of calculation. Some droplets go down or some droplets go up. 有2种计算方式，有些游离是往下，有些游离是往上。So there are 2 ways, but they have the same conclusion. Let's go to the first method. The drops go down. Drops 是游离，有时候我会说 droplets，有时候会说 drop. They are the same. Let me explain them. Go down. Fg equals to Fe. The gravitational force equals to the electric force. The gravitational force equals to the electric force. Then we do some calculation. We know that the voltage applied. We know how the voltage applied to the electrode. 我们知道电极被加了多少电压 E equals to V over D. V is the V, the capital V, 大写的 V. The capital V is the voltage across the 2 points. D is the distance of separation between Fg means the gravitational force. As we said before, the gravitational force will equals to the viscosity force. 往下重力会等于延伸力嘛 The electric force in F equals to QE, E equals to V over V. So by combining these two, we get Q. We know the gravitational force because we know the viscosity force. We know the D, the distance between the two plates.